Hi everyone, Claire here from Raw Blend. Today I'm going to be making you a delicious salted rosemary chocolate tart. But I'm going to be using carob because I'm a big carob fan. I know many of you may not be, but I'm going to be eating it, so I want to enjoy it. So I'm going to get started with my base. This is pretty much the same base I use for most of my raw desserts. It's around about 1.5 cups of any nuts that you have. I've got almonds and pecans here that I had left over, and then I've got 1/2 cup of shredded coconut with 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil. And to that I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of carob powder. Remember that all amounts are actually on our website, so if you forget or if I say something incorrectly, it's all going to be listed on the website for you. So I'm going to use that one. And then I've been soaking some dates. So they're nice and juicy now, and they're pitted, of course. You don't want that in your base. So I'm using around probably 8 or 10, depending on how big they are. Pop those in. And I'm using the Ascent 3500i Vitamix blender, which has the amazing touch screen. It looks incredible, nice and modern. So make sure when using it, you clip this lid on into place, and then that will get rid of your little circle in the corner that usually has the dash through it. That means it's not reading the container. But we're all good to go. It's on, speed 1 to start, and then we'll ramp it up. Doesn't need to be perfect. I like it with a few little, oh delicious. I'm gonna eat that part. You can add a bit of salt in there too, I forgot to mention. So this still has some chunky bits of almonds in there. It's super delicious. Spoon it in. And it smells incredible too. And I'm just gonna start pressing this down. Easy with a spoon. Just sort of rub it over like this. So you get it nice and smooth. And the trick is just using the back of a metal spoon. And if it's super sticky, just wet the spoon a little bit and it'll just glide right over. So there we have it. That's our base ready to go into the fridge. So I'll pop it in there as we make the filling. Okay, now for the delicious part. We have the filling, so it's literally just 1/2 cup of melted coconut oil, if it's not too cold at your house. And I've got 1/3 cup of maple syrup in here as well. You can also use rice malt syrup or any kind of liquid sweetener that you fancy. Using the 600 ml blending cup on the Ascent series as well. And to that I'm going to add carob, surprisingly. Just about 1/2 cup of the carob powder. Oh, it's so messy to put into. Alrighty, a bit dusty for you all. And the delicious part, which is fresh chopped rosemary, straight from my garden. Oh, it smells delicious. So I've got about 1 tablespoon of finely chopped rosemary to go in there. I've also added some salt to that as well. So I'm going to line up my triangles on each of the containers. We've got them here. Twist that on nice and tight. Flick it upside down. Straight onto the motor base. Make sure it's reading it. All good to go. Start and get up to high, and we'll see how we go. You need to give it a bit of a shake in between, and that's our filling done. All right, now the smell of this is incredible. Just that rosemary mixed with coconut, a bit of salt, maple syrup. This is decadence without the guilt of not really knowing what's in your food. You know exactly what's in here, and everyone's got rosemary in their garden or their balcony garden. It's just a really thin coating on top. It's the beauty of almost raw desserts, is that you don't need much because your body's getting nutrients from actual real food. We're gonna let that set in the fridge or the freezer, depending how patient you're gonna be. But enjoy, happy blending.